There we go.
Good morning, fellow equestrian adventuresses. I'm Heather, and this is...
I'm Ute. We are happy to welcome you to the new episode of this podcast. So today, Heather and me, we are going to chat a little bit about ourselves so that you get to know us a bit better. And we are kind of telling you where we want to take this podcast in future.
Thanks, Ute, and good morning to my North American friends. I'm located in central Canada, and Ute?
I'm really at the other end or at the other side of the earth. So we are truly international because I'm located in India. So it's actually quite interesting because that's exactly what we want this podcast to be. We are truly international. We have a lot of distance which divides us, but at the same time, we have so many things in common. We share our love for horses. We share the love for traveling and the love for adventure. So so it's really great to have this international podcast for you guys. And I think you're sitting all over the world and listening to this podcast, listening to the two of us really sitting at the other ends of the planet. So Heather, you are actually not at home, but you're on a little road trip at the moment. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
I am. I'm actually currently in Calgary, Alberta, just off of the Rocky Mountains. So my husband and I are on a little road trip, a little adventure, just the two of us, seeing part of this beautiful country that we live in. The elephant in the room in 2020 of COVID has really restricted some of our travel plans. So we decided to, kind of stay in our own backyard and tour some parts of Canada that my husband hadn't been to. So we've spent the last few days traveling around through British Columbia, through the Rocky Mountains, seeing some amazing sights and trees and rivers. And it's funny, Ute and I we were chatting yesterday about our love for horses. And it's funny, even when I'm out with my husband touring around, we were going on some hikes, I always say, it was like I have radar to where there's horses in that field, and look at all the babies in that field, sticking close to their mamas. And it was really nice to, as we're driving along, there's lots of fields with some cattle, but still lots of horses. And, Western Canada really has some spectacular riding. This particular areas, there's lots of opportunities for non-horse owners to be able to go and go for a trail ride. There's lots of places that offer rentals, where they provide all of the equipment, the horse obviously, but it was really nice to be able to see. We rode by one group of trail riders, and they were enjoying the beautiful countryside, but they were still getting to ride a horse. And for some people, that's a first. They may have never ridden a horse before. And we chatted with one of the girls at the stable, and she said, yeah, we had a lady show up yesterday in a white dress that wanted to go riding. And we had a little chuckle. It's like, oh well, a white dress, that might not be my first choice of riding apparel. Right. But we watch all those Disney movies with the princesses riding in the beautiful gowns. So maybe that was her
that was in her
passion to
her idea. I know. I mean, I've seen a lot of women or a lot of people coming for riding in flip-flops, where you think like, oh my god, okay, I'll get you some shoes. So yeah,
and it falls into that, do as I say, not as I do, because I know there's been lots of times I've gone out to do morning chores in flip-flops, sandals, but when I know my horses, and if I get stepped on, that's my own fault. Right. But for an amateur or someone really inexperienced, the closed-toed shoes might prevent a few, your pedicure might last a little longer.
Yes, definitely. I
have
know.
shoes on when you're around horses.
Well, a lot of people, I guess, particularly first timers, they just don't know the dangers around horses. They have no idea really until they come up to that huge animal, and then they say, "Oh." So yeah, it's good to prepare them a little bit, to tell them, okay, wear proper shoes and maybe not the white dress. But yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean,
Right.
it sounds like a true horse country.
Yes, it really is beautiful here in Western Canada. Well, all of Canada is very beautiful. We're in the the heart, the heart of summer right now. So we're having some, really nice weather. However, our little friends, the mosquitoes, have made their appearance. We were out for a walk last night, and it was like, well, maybe we're going to turn around now, because the little bugs were deciding to suck my blood, because I apparently have the mosquito. I'm
The
the best
sweet,
choice
sweet
when
blood.
it
I
comes
know.
to.
I know. And I'm the same. I'm sitting outside at the moment. Here it's already fairly dark or getting dark now. And I covered myself literally in mosquito spray as not to get eaten, because we're in the middle of the monsoon season at the moment. So we have plenty of water. I mean, there hasn't been any rain now for the last couple of days, but still there's stagnant water. We have a huge lake on our property. And they just love me, these little blood-sucking vampires. So bug spray
Well,
is must.
I have been told, if you're a gin drinker, that is supposed to keep the mosquitoes away. So some days I'm tempted to bathe in gin, but for those that there are, that like a good G&T, that might be a good solution to prevent mosquitoes.
Well, I should try that. I'm not a big gin drinker. In fact, I don't really drink a lot of alcohol anyway. But I'm tempted to try that out one day.
Yeah. Yes. So now, Ute, you are in an amazing part of northern India. Why don't you share a little bit more about your horses and what you have on your property?
Well, we live on a farm. We're actually situated near Udaipur, very close to Udaipur. That's a city in northwestern India, in the state of Rajasthan. Now, Rajasthan is considered the desert state of India. However, if you're looking at the place where I'm sitting now and what I'm seeing, it's very different from a desert. So it's very green and lush at the moment, and it's very beautiful. We are surrounded by mountains. I can see, when I'm looking outside my kitchen window, I can see my horses grazing on the field. I can see the lake. We have a lot of water birds at the moment. We have painted stork, which is one of the common species of storks here. We have gray heron, we have teals and ducks. So it's very, very lush at the moment, very beautiful. So it's really a small bit of paradise, even though when we bought this farm, when we bought this land, we were really far outside the city, but the city is kind of catching up with us. Now, Rajasthan is the biggest state in India, actually. And Udaipur is a small city. It's not a very, very big city for Indian standards. It has about 500,000 inhabitants. So it's probably big for Canada, but it's quite small for India. So it's coming closer and closer to us. That's a little bit the problem we're facing. On the other hand, we have enough land, fortunately, to keep them a little bit away. So we're having at the moment, we have 14 horses, we have 4 dogs, we have 2 cows, we have plenty of chicken. So we all share the space here. And yeah, it's always nice. As I said, it's my own little paradise, I always call it.
Right, and interesting. So I as well. I live in Saskatchewan, which is in, still considered Western Canada, but it does kind of fall in the middle of Western Canada, on a little acreage, and we're about 2 miles or 2 kilometers from the main highway. So it does tend to be pretty quiet. Occasionally we can hear some traffic on the road, but for the most part, it's pretty quiet. So I'm in Calgary right now, staying at my parents'. And I went to bed last night and I heard the fire trucks and I heard the sirens and I heard the airplanes, and it was quite different to go from that, where at home, you open the window and it's like, you know, you hear the coyotes howling or the birds chirping, not constant police and fire and those kind of things. So it is, I do quite enjoy living in the country, you know, being away from the city, even though we both, you know, not really too far away from the city, but it is nice and peaceful.
Oh, that sounds lovely. I'm also a country girl, definitely. I couldn't
So
live in
now
the city.
you said so now you said you have 14 horses. So what breeds of horses are your the ones that you have?
So we only have Marwari horses. So the Marwari horses are the local horses. They are the horses here in Rajasthan. So it's an indigenous breed. They're very nice trail horses, actually. They're very beautiful horses. They're the horses with the curved ears. So they're very, very special. It's actually the only horse breed in the world with such extremely curved ears. Very often the ears touch, the tips of the ears that touch because they turn inward. So when the horse picks up the ears and listen to what is in front of it, the ear tips would touch or even overlap in some of the horses. So they're quite special horses, actually. And yeah, so we have 14. We have some of them were born at the farm, and we have all like families, like grandmother, mother, daughter kind of thing. And yeah, so a lot of them are related, and well, they are all babies, I guess.
All your babies anyways, right? Yes. So I in Canada, predominantly we have our quarter horses. Appaloosas are, you know, near and dear to my heart. I like those little spots on the bum.
Yeah, they're
That's
pretty.
my one of my favorites. But you know, we do tend to have you know, a fair amount of different breeds in Canada. So you know, you get an opportunity. I rode a little Norwegian fjord, not too, like he could go anywhere, and a great little mind on him. He, you know, knew when it was safe, when it wasn't safe. We went up and down, you know, hills and mountains and rocks, and you know, there were times that I was like, oh, I'm just gonna hold on because I'm not even going to try to steer you because you know where to go, and I don't want to go over the side of the cliff, and you seem to be have a plan here, so I'm just going to take your lead. So it's really, you know, horses have been something that have always kind of been in my little, and to, you know, I'm well into my adulthood now, and I'm so happy that I'm able to share that with my kids. My two boys both rode when they were younger. You know, they enjoyed the Western discipline. They like to do the barrel racing and you know, doing some trail riding where, you know, they were learning how to open gates and go over bridges, and so they really liked that aspect of it. I did try to introduce them into, you know, doing a little bit of jumping, but that wasn't 100% their forte, so we stuck back to the Western style.
Western, right?
And what about your riding? Is it predominantly English, or are you more Western?
Well, see, generally India is more under the English riding category because the British were here for so many years and they brought, you know, the English saddles and the English style of riding. And mostly, actually, most of the riding has been done by the army. And well, that was very much influenced by the British style of riding. Me personally, I would say I do something of a mix because I learned English. Obviously, Germany, I learned in Germany. I'm German, so there is mostly English riding. Western has come up in recent years, but when I was a kid, it was classical English way of the German cavalry riding style. And we had these cavalry teachers who would really, you know, kind of torture us with, posting trot without stirrups and stuff like that. But
Oh
in
yes,
recent, yeah, that's a classic, I think. But
the
in,
dreaded. I think there is a theme in Canada. I know with some of my friends that give lessons, I think the whole month of November, it's like no stirrups November. And
oh dear, that's tough. That is really tough. But in recent years, actually, I have done a lot of natural horsemanship. I was introduced actually to natural horsemanship by one of my guests. Like me and my husband, we organize horse rides and horse safaris. So we do trail riding, we do multiple day trails out on the countryside, mostly for international guests. And well, one of my guests, I think it was in 2006, he was with us. It was one when we were a relatively small company. He was, I guess you'd call him a horse whisperer, even though I don't really like the term much, but he had his way with horses. Oh my, I was amazed. So that opened a whole new world for me, introducing me to this concept of natural horsemanship. And he's taught me a few things like the 7 games of Pirelli, and showed me some tricks and some ways, and kind of encouraged me to continue on my own, and that's what I did. So the last basically well, ever since then, I'm trying to learn. I did a few clinics. I mean, not here in India, that's not happening, but whenever I'm in Europe, I try to meet teachers. I try to look how they do things. I love to just to learn, and to see how other people kind of work with horses in a natural way. So yeah, so I'm kind of a little bit gone into the Western direction, because I mean, natural horsemanship is so much connected with Western riding, particularly the groundwork of it. So yeah, it's a kind of mix, you can say. I do ride in mostly, we have mostly trail saddles. So they're actually Western saddles, but they don't have the horn. They're not the proper big Western style saddles, but they are, do you know the McLaren saddles, the cavalry saddles?
Kind of, yes.
Yeah, so they're basically on that base. So they don't have the horn, and they're not as big. They're usually nice and light and very comfortable to sit in for both horse and rider. So I have a lot of those saddles. So we do ride long distances, so the saddles need to be comfortable. You can't ride with both your hands all the time, but you need a horse which reacts on the neck reining and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a mix. It's trail riding, what we do.
With discipline.
Yeah.
Well, that's really, I do, I really like the the natural horsemanship style or theme. I think, and it's always good, when you go to a clinic, or really anywhere, and you watch how other people ride, or you listen to different comments. You learn something. I watched a lesson. A girlfriend of mine's daughter was taking a jumping lesson, and it was interesting listening to the coach, how the different things that she would say to her after she went over the fence. It's like, well, did you feel that in your core? She had a couple fences that weren't so great, so she reset and started again. And it was just those, you need to feel. It's a feel. Riding really is a feel, because we all know when we get on, if our stirrups aren't the right length, how something just doesn't feel right. But when you can find that sweet spot where you really are, this is right, my seat feels well, my feet are sitting balanced in my stirrups, and it really does make your ride more enjoyable, and safer, really, because
Exactly.
the one thing that has been with traveling with horses, specifically hours in a day, if you're not need some muscle relaxants or some relief, so that feel is so important.
Yeah, it's right. It's all about feeling, really. That's so difficult to explain horse riding to a non-horsey person, because very often say,
Right.
well, you have all these terms, and it's really, I always say, you can't learn horse riding from a book. You have to be there on horseback to learn and to feel how the horse moves, and you have to feel that kind of connection with you and the horse. That's the most important thing about horse riding, I guess.
Right. And I think that connection, because we all know when there is if the horse is upset, you feel the tightness, they do give you lots of warning signs of, yeah, I think I'm not happy right now, or they're real relaxed. And so it is a feel. And I think you make a great point when you say you can't learn horseback riding from a book. There's some fantastic stories out there about horseback riding in books, but that there's nothing better than that feel of, either you're walking down the path or galloping at, what feels like Mach speed with the wind blowing by, and, horses, their ears are forward and they're just on full, let's go. So there is that feel, that excitement that, for myself, it's almost a feeling of peace when you're just at one with your horse, going at, what feels like 100 miles an hour, or even just a mosey down the road.
Yeah, that's the best thing, isn't it? Like whenever I'm upset or I'm angry or sad, I just saddle a horse and I go for a ride, and it just makes me, fine again. It smoothes my soul in a way. It's like it takes away all the pain and all the bad feelings, and I come back and I'm so refreshed and I'm so happy again. It gives me the inner balance riding. That is the best thing about horses.
Yeah, I 100% agree. There's, even you're, got some bad news or just having a down day, your horse is your, the best listener out there. They always seem to cue in when, okay, yeah, I got to come over here and stand, and she's going to scratch my ear, or she's probably going to take pictures of my nose again, or those kind of things that, and they just know. And it is, there's something about them, they truly are the best listeners in the whole world. And, when you said about cleansing the soul, there's nothing better than, cleaning out a stall or refilling a water bucket, or that little nicker that they give when they've heard you pour their oats into their pail. Right. Just like, hey, that, and it's, that's their thank you to you.
I know.
But it's, that has to be the most rewarding sound ever, that little nicker that they give you, or little whinny. So it's great. So now, we've talked lots about ourselves. For our audience, we really want, our vision or goals for this podcast really is to bring stories to you on a regular basis about our adventures, about we're going to be interviewing some really exciting people, talking about their adventures, their horses, their real experience in the travel world.
Yes, exactly. So we also want to find actually people all around the world. We've already started, and we are going to bring you a lot of amazing people and topics as well from all around the world. So we want to really connect with you as our audience. So we would please ask you to share your feedback each episode. We would ask you to to give us proposals, what other people you would like to listen to, what kind of interviews you like to listen to, what topics are of your interest, which we could kind of take up and research and do some more episodes on. You can get in touch with us through the Facebook group, through the Equestrian Adventurers' Facebook group. You can email us on the show, sending us your feedback and your proposals. So we are very, very happy to get this feedback, and you tell us what you like and you tell us what you didn't like.
Exactly. And I really, there's some really great products out there. I know on one of my recent trips to Ireland, I had an amazing raincoat that, it's those little tips, things that we want to be able to share with our listeners, because you just never know when you're going to need, a new pair of boots, or a new helmet, rain jacket, gloves, saddle, all those great things that,
or helmet, camera, all this technical little things and devices which are so important in today's world. So you can actually share your adventures with everyone in the Facebook group, or nowadays through Instagram or whatever. So definitely brand reviews, product reviews will be here as well. We will go and have a look for you. We'll go and test some of these things for you and, well, share our experiences with that.
Right. So I'm so excited to start this journey with you, Ute. I think we're going to, you and I have clicked right on. We met a couple of weeks ago. We do literally live on the opposite side of the world. I look forward to my early morning call with you. Early morning for me. You're getting ready for bed. I'm just starting my day, and it really is a pleasure to share this with you. One thing that we've kind of started with our questions is some rapid fire type questions that we want to ask all of our guests. So we thought we would ask a few today to each other, keeping it really light and humorous. So if it's all right, I will start. So Ute, now, as I said, we usually talk my morning, your nighttime. So are you a coffee or a tea drinker?
It's a little difficult. I'm both, actually. I need my coffee, but during the day, I'm usually a tea drinker. So I always have, a thermos bottle of tea, of hot tea on my table. So I drink this kind of 1 liter of tea, like probably two of these bottles a day. So during the day, tea, but in the morning, coffee. And at the moment, because it's very hot, I love cold coffee in the evening.
Oh, cold coffee. Okay. Now, something near and dear to my heart, Coke or Pepsi?
Neither. I'm not at all a Coke or Pepsi drinker. I prefer Fanta or something like that. I'm not much of a cold drink person.
Well, I am a Coke drinker. I can tell if I could do the taste test between Coke and Pepsi. I'm sure that there's some ingredient in Coke that I probably have some little addiction to, because that is my go-to. I could probably drink Coke from start to finish, or start, in the morning till bedtime. But I do need some coffee in the morning, and then I'll roll into, I know drinking water would be definitely more healthier for me, but I do enjoy a good glass of Coca-Cola.
Well, we all have our addictions, right? And you know what? We in India have our own indigenous Coke, or kind of Coke type. It's not a Coca-Cola, obviously. So it's called Thumbs Up. Now, in India, it was a long time that India was, fairly, well, they said it was the third way. They kind of always said we are non-aligned. We are not into any of the superpowers, but they leaned more towards the Soviet Union. So they would not allow Coca-Cola or Pepsi in the country. So they made their own thing. So it's called Thumbs Up. Now, should you ever come to India and visit me, I'll give you a thumbs up and you let me know if you like that one or not. But it is also different, again, like Coke and Pepsi. It's slightly different in flavor.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to be on the hunt for some thumbs up. And I guess my last question for you is, being that our theme of our show is horses travel women, are you a planner or are you a wing it?
I'm a planner, even though I can be spontaneous. I'm the one, like I used to travel a lot with my friend. So I'm the one who plans it out. I'm the one who researches all the hotels. I'm the one who plans out the travel. And so I'm more the planner type of person. And I love nothing better to plan my next travel. So I'm more of a planner. But as I said, I can be spontaneous too. If you say like, okay, let's go somewhere, I'm always game.
Well, you are a woman after my own heart. I am also a planner. I have, usually have one trip coming up. But as we get closer to that trip, I've started planning trip number 2. And so funny, people come up to me, so where have you been? Where are you going? I'm the planner. I can be spontaneous, but I would probably still prefer to know exactly, where are we staying? How are we getting there? Where are the gas stations along the way because I have like tiny bladder syndrome. I, have to know where the next bathroom is. So.
I see. Yeah, I know that's a lot of people are that. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So you had your 3 questions. Now it's my turn. So
Okay.
actually, I wanted to plan this out and research it and think of three great, rapid fire questions to ask you. But then I forgot. I got busy. In the afternoon, I had a writing student here at the farm, who I taught him a little bit. He's the son of our tenants, so it's nothing exciting. But he loves horses, and I'm really happy to, help him a little bit with his riding. And he's a boy of, I think he's 12 years old, so he's fairly small, but he's pretty good with horses. He loves horses, and he's been dying to get some lessons for years. And now I'm free because of Corona, and so I said, okay, just come over every, second evening, and I'll, give you a little lesson. So then, I got busy, and so just in the last minute, I quickly thought of three questions. So they're not the
All right.
greatest, but sometimes spontaneous is good. So, number one, if you had 15 minutes of, being famous and being powerful, what would you do?
Whoa, that's a tough one. I don't know what the, well, I would probably, in the first minute, find out if all those like get skinny weight loss tips actually were real. I'd probably want to, well, I guess I'd only have 15 minutes, so I wouldn't be able to plan anything really exciting. I probably Iceland is my next on my bucket list, so I'd probably book a trip since I'd have lots of money to Iceland. Maybe buy like a new wardrobe, buy some new horses.
Yeah.
I think if I had 15 minutes of fame, I would use their fame money to buy stuff.
Right. That's good. That's a good thing to do, I guess. Now, a totally different one. What's the color of your toothbrush?
Orange.
I see. Is it always, do you like orange particular, or is it just
No, I
yes.
think that was I like I'm not sure what brand it is, but they're like electric ones that they're like disposable ones.
I
And
see.
this one was orange.
Oh, okay. So just chance.
Just chance.
Okay. And the one thing which annoys you most is what?
Oh, I do. Well, there's a couple things. People that stand up too quick on an airplane, like, where are you going? Like, there's 200 people in front of you.
Exactly. Why you have to get up even the seatbelt signs are off. I can
I
totally
know,
relate
like
to that.
when the flight attendant has to come on and say, please remain seated until the plane has come to a stop. That one is, but it's interesting with COVID now, with everything, the 2 meter distance and 6 feet. I think I'm a little bit annoyed when people don't respect that. Or the respect of that, because there's been lots of controversy about masks and not masks and social distancing and everything, but to stand 6 feet apart or 2 meters apart, that's not you should always stand 2 meters apart. Like, that's my personal space. So that would be number 2 on my annoying list. It might be reversed right now because I haven't been on a plane for a few months, so.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I hate it. And in India, people tend to crowd a lot around you. So I always kind of, extend my elbows and say please keep a bit distance. And don't crowd straight behind me. You're breathing down my neck. Give me some space here.
Right.
So I hate
Exactly.
that too. I can totally relate to that as well.
I've seen some little memes or cartoons where it looks like people are walking around with an inner tube over top of their body. And I'm like, that isn't such a bad idea.
No, it isn't. No, sometimes I can totally relate to it. I hate it when people crowd in my personal space. I also don't like it when horses crowd in my personal space and step on my feet and literally
Right.
trying to crawl in my pocket. So I think that's also very respectless. I also teach my horses always to keep a little bit of space around me and respect my personal space.
Perfect.
Great. It was a pleasure talking to you, Heather. And I'm really looking forward of doing this podcast in the future with you because it's so amazing. As I said, we are literally at the opposite of, of this world. And we immediately really connected so well, and I have the feeling I have known you for years, and
Exactly.
it's great. It's really great. So yeah, I'm looking very much forward doing this podcast with you. I'm very much looking forward to bring you all kinds of different interesting interviews in the next weeks and months. As Heather has already said, we are planning to make this a very regular feature, much more regular as it has been till now. And yeah, so if you like this episode, if you enjoyed our talk today, please hit the subscribe button so you get all the new episodes downloaded straight on your mobile. Give us a like on on all the podcast player you could listen us on, like Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. You can find us on Stitcher and all these places. And yeah, give us your comment in the Facebook group or send us an email with your comments. We are very happy to receive all of that.
Have a great night, and I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Great. Okay, I'll stop that now.